All right, there we go. Thank you so much, Juliette, for taking the time for this little talk after using Scribe together with your team for the first couple of weeks. Before we jump in, would you briefly just introduce yourself, your role at OMR, and yeah, how you came across Scribe?
Yes, sure. So I'm Juliette. I've been at OMR since December last year, and my role is B2B marketing. So I'm located in the sales team at OMR, and everything I do is basically focused on generating revenue and supporting generating revenue. And I've been doing stuff like our first B2B newsletter, some LinkedIn ads here and there, and also interviews with our customers and success stories. And a big part of my job is also LinkedIn. So figuring out whether LinkedIn ads are a thing for us or if we should focus on organic content there. So I'm super happy we met you and we got to work together with you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the introduction. And you just mentioned that you're like responsible for everything that is in somehow related to generating revenue. How was your approach then before with LinkedIn, and like how was your correlation between LinkedIn efforts, both paid and organic, to like reach your goals and your revenue goals?
Yeah, so the first thing we did with LinkedIn was the first paid ads we did. I think it was back in February because we tried to figure out how to generate some new leads and to catch some new contacts for OMR that maybe didn't know us then. And it wasn't that successful because we didn't generate any leads. I'm not sure if it was because of a rather lower budget that we got for the beginning, but I also just think it was more of an awareness campaign than a lead gen campaign. So I was a bit frustrated with that and I wasn't too happy about continuing that journey with paid ads. So we thought about something that's cheaper for us and where we need to put less work into because, getting the graphics team to build nice visuals, to cut videos, and also to generate some nice texts for the ads actually took us lots of time and it wasn't that efficient for us. So we thought about some different ways to use LinkedIn for us. And the initial idea came from our director sales, Moritz, because he was like, hey, maybe we should just start posting some stuff on LinkedIn because we also have a big audience. And I was like, okay, interesting. Because the last time I did that was when I was in sales, I think like 4 years ago. So I was very excited about trying out that stuff. And first we started with Moritz, our director, Tim, our head of, and Annika and Yannick, our team leads in sales. And I just wrote some content for them. I collected some stuff that is up to date, stuff that's maybe exciting for our target group, and also some special offers we had. And it was very messy because I did all of that in an Excel sheet. I was basically their ghostwriter for their LinkedIn posts. And we then realized that it doesn't really make sense to just let them post stuff and to let me ghostwrite everything into one Excel sheet. So we were like, okay, we need to think this bigger. And then we just briefed the whole sales team, which is a couple more people, I'd say like 20 to 25 people. And a lot of them were super open to post on LinkedIn, to try it out, to give themselves voices, because not many of them have been posting on LinkedIn. I'd say it's been like 2 to 3 account managers who've been posting on LinkedIn, and that's not a lot for a company like OMR. So it was a tough challenge to provide them with content, also with text there. So I began ghostwriting again, and that was not what I wanted. So I thought it's not very efficient if everyone just copies my texts. And then we started just providing them with some keywords and some images and maybe also some links where they could get into stuff and maybe use their own words. But I quickly realized that it's also a big time effort for the sales team because their job is not to become influencers on LinkedIn, but to generate revenue. So we needed to become more efficient. And that's where we basically started researching for an alternative. We were thinking about using ChatGPT, but we weren't happy with that because sometimes it just sounds very crappy when you put stuff into ChatGPT. And then we looked into another tool, which we didn't like that much. And then actually, because of the team of OMR reviews, we discovered Scripe, and we've been super happy with everything that we learned about you. And it's been a great journey since we're using Scripe. So the team is super happy. I'm super happy. The task force is super happy. And I think we haven't been this efficient ever before. So I really like how it's going now, and I think we can get even bigger with that. But yeah, that's basically where we're up to right now.
Amazing to hear, and thank you so much for also sharing the process that kind of led you to the decision. It's super interesting that you kind of tried all those different things, and then ended up realizing, okay, we need something more efficient for the whole team. You just mentioned that you then kind of discovered Scribe, and then you had the onboarding with the team of like around 20 people. How was this onboarding process for you? And maybe also what were the kind of objections or fears from like the participants? Would you quickly like to like shine a bit more light on the first steps
Yeah.
with Scribe?
So when we had this activation call, I was super hyped because we all gathered together in the office, and I think it was a really nice atmosphere to have everyone sitting together in the office because it's not common in year 2024 to have the whole team in the office, and we were 25 people there, but I'd say almost half of it were there, and it was super nice because there was so much engagement. You engaged the team a lot, and I think that was what really convinced the team to try Scribe and to try become more active on LinkedIn. And then when we had the onboarding call, I think the team was starting to understand it a bit more, like why should they be posting on LinkedIn? What effect can it really have? Can they really generate inbounds out of it? Because of course we had the trial period with you, and we've generated 9 inbounds already during those 2 or 3 weeks, and that's great. But of course, when you don't experience it and you just hear it from your colleagues, you tend to be more skeptical, especially in sales. So it was super great to have this detailed onboarding, to have the team ask you questions, to have you present all the cases you already had and all the examples. And it was just super great because the onboarding was really detailed, and you took so much time to answer questions and to basically clear their doubts. So it was a great success, I'd say, after the onboarding.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And you just mentioned kind of that you of course your goal initially, especially with the sales team, and their goal is to generate leads so they can drive revenue. Did you had like specific expectations or also talks that you had like beforehand, like before the activation call with the team, how you then also positioned Scribe or just the the action to be more active on LinkedIn? Or like was it super clear for them that LinkedIn positioning is equaling generating leads? Or how was this kind of process to understand for them?
So what the team initially thought was that we want them to become influencers on LinkedIn, and they were like, "That's a bit cringe. I don't want that." So we first needed to set another expectation there, that we don't want them to become influencers, that we rather want them to develop personal brands, so that when people see them, they're like, that's, for example, Simon. I know him because he always posts stuff about like singing at the Hamburger Goldkehlchen. So that's something that we focused on, because we need to split the goals. Basically, we have the account and key account managers, and then we have the sales managers, and of course they don't have the same goals, because for sales we rather focus on generating leads, to get some inbounds, to make some new connections, to basically grow their audience on LinkedIn. And for the account managers and key account managers, the focus is rather on being present there to worship their partnerships. For example, my colleague Pauline just posted a very nice post about a partnership of hers that's going really great, that's even growing. And I think it's super valuable to post stuff like that as well, and not just be there to generate leads. So I think it was a bit easier and clearer for them once we set those expectations and once we told them that not everyone has to become an influencer. So I think that's what made it easier for the team to really understand why we want them to be active on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think it's super important that everyone kind of knows why they're doing it, and then they're also like seeing the first results towards that once they started. And you just mentioned kind of the onboarding process and the activation call, and then we had like this first like days of like they could try it out. Like, what was it like? Like, what was the team reacting to when you had those first days after the onboarding and after they could really like test and play around with the platform?
So it was kind of like giving a new game to a child because everyone was super excited to work with AI because most of them haven't really been in touch with using AI, and they all thought the only thing AI does is basically do things for you in a bad way. So when they started typing in those keywords or when they recorded their voice memos and uploaded them onto Scripe, they've been super excited when they saw that the content that's coming out of it is actually great and usable. So I think that was super nice to experience because most of them were still quite pessimistic, and it was super nice seeing them switch from pessimistic to optimistic and to also see them having fun with the tool. Because usually when you're working, I wouldn't say I have much fun with using tools. Like, of course, there's stuff like Asana that makes work easier, for example, but it was really nice to see them having fun. And when they discovered, for example, the image generator, it's become even funnier because they all used like super funny pictures that they shouldn't have been using. And we saw super exciting pictures and super funny images that were generated. And some of them even used them for the first times. And they've been super happy. The feedback was super nice on LinkedIn under their posts. So I think that we really have lots of Scribe fans already in the team, and it's super nice because it's quite infectious when one of them is super happy and a heavy user, for example. They can easily just promote it in the team and tell the others, hey, maybe you should use it more because it's super efficient and super effective and it's even fun to use it. So I'm super happy to see the team liking the tool.
That makes me also very happy, and also kind of what you said, that is not only like on the user base side, but that it also like delivers the goal or like the results that you discussed or that you expect them to kind of get through. So to kind of get to this point, like how does the process now work? Like you're like, we had the onboarding, we had a little feedback call as well like a few days ago. How is the team currently working with Scribe, and do you like have any first numbers that you can share already since the onboarding that you could achieve?
Mm-hmm. So right now it's pretty autonomous because everyone is just trying to post stuff that they're interested in. The first days and the first weeks, I try to give them some input still. For example, promoting our Black Week a few weeks ago, and now this week, for example, I also gave them some input to promote some free booths we still have for OMR 25, and so I still try to give them some input that's maybe valuable for the company because, of course, their content is super nice, but we still need them to be like visible for the company and post in the company's name. So that's quite of a nice mixture that we have already. And the results are also very nice. So we now focus on the team building their presence and growing their audience. And all of them told me that they've gained so many new followers. For example, Pauline had a post that's gone viral, and I think she got more than 100 new contacts. Christina, for example, told us that she also got more than 200 new contacts coming from a post. And that's super nice because growing an audience on LinkedIn can take quite a while. And I know that from my sales days. So I think it's a super great achievement getting so many requests on LinkedIn, even if it's not inbounds directly. But those people have seen you and they've basically they've been like, okay, this is a person that's interesting for us. The company is interesting for us. And that's something that's super nice and super helpful for sales. So that's a great achievement that we already got. And what we also realized is that even the account and key account managers got inbounds in their LinkedIn inboxes because they didn't even realize that they could still generate inbounds because they don't work in new biz. And it's also very nice to see them engaging with new contacts again because they are not used to it. So all in all, we're super happy with the results that we have right now.
Amazing. So awareness, audience building, and inbound leads, all in
Yeah.
one. Um, do you already kind of have an estimate of like how many inbound leads you could like get, like since like people are posting like 2 to 3 times per week maybe? Um, is it a goal from you like to have any correlation on this, or can you already see a little bit of a direction going, or is it too early?
So the goal is to get one inbound per sales manager a week at the start
Mm-hmm.
because we want to start in a softer way and to not set the targets too high.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something that's super realistic. And as Q4 is super busy and Q4 magic is happening everywhere, we want the team to basically start over again in January, maybe setting new goals by then, and to be even more active there because right now I think they post like once a week or maybe twice a week because they're just super busy. But I think having a fresh start into 2025, they can take lots of more time
Mm-hmm.
posting on LinkedIn. And then I think we will also sharpen their goals a bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And also, it takes a little bit of time to build that audience to convert them into inbound leads. Then after a while,
Yeah.
but that's amazing. Like for this, like, and it has only been what about 4 weeks maybe since we had the onboarding. So amazing progress. Also, and great progress that you kind of brought it to the team and encouraging them to go forward. So you already mentioned a little bit on like what's next and the goal setting for like 2025. What will be kind of what is the roadmap for the team, and the next steps that you think Scribe can help with?
Yeah. So of course it's being more active because not all of them are heavy users on LinkedIn already, but we're trying to enable everyone to see the benefits. And I think it's not that they're not seeing the benefits, but I think some colleagues are still a bit shy. So of course that's a challenge that we still need to tackle. And I think it's very promising still because the team is super open. There's no one who's like, oh, no, I don't want to use that. It's rather that they need some support still. And I think what you also mentioned, like having a buddy to post stuff, is a very nice way to engage a bit more, to become a bit more present. Because I think if you have someone that you can talk to and that you can generate content with, it's a lot easier to start something than just being on your own. And that's something that we really want to tackle. And
You mean
next,
that content body system,
yeah,
so like that they kind of form groups of two
yeah,
within the team and then talk to each other. Yeah,
exactly. Because I think it's a nice way to motivate each other and the team
absolutely.
as sitting with 20 people and brainstorming is not that efficient in our team. And next week, we will also brainstorm a bit more into which direction we need this whole thing to go. Like if we want to set some target goals with, for example, the numbers of followers they should have by, for example, March or something like that. So next week, it's a big goal for us to sharpen it a bit more because as I'm leaving, the team is taking over and I'm super excited to see what they're doing with it and how successful they're becoming with their thought leadership and personal brands on LinkedIn. So I think there's many more things to achieve and many more things to come. But I'm very positive that the team will use the tool very efficient.
I'm happy to hear that. And who would you recommend like also using Scribe, especially like on a sales and also customer success kind of perspective?
You mean
Other
which kind of
companies, or like
yeah.
who would be kind of someone that when you see those people or those companies that you would say, oh yes, you should definitely try it?
I think it's basically something for everyone. So I think it's not something for small to medium businesses. It's also something that enterprises should look into, and also startups, because it's a great way to get some more awareness. And I think awareness is something that every company size needs. But I think especially those enterprises, for example, that have a high focus on generating revenue and very tough goals, it might be a super way to become more present, to be some be like kind of a thought leader in your industry. And I think that's something that where is a lot of potential. And I think it's something maybe, for example, for especially SaaS companies, because I mean, they already know what software is like. They know what software sales is like, and it can be tough. And I think having a community and being active there and being present for your community can be a big support for sales managers and also for account managers. So I think basically it's something for everyone, but I think it's a great addition for every sales tool stack. I mean, it can also be great for C-level, but I think for sales it's a super great lead gen machine and awareness machine.
That's the perfect kind of almost endpoint. Is there something that you would like to add, or something that we haven't covered in our conversation?
I would just also like to thank you, because you made it really easy for us to bring LinkedIn into the team. You were super nice on, yeah, just explaining to the team why they shouldn't be skeptical, why they should just be open to something new, because sales teams can be a bit tough to handle, and because they're all very strong-minded people, and they're all very good at what they're doing, otherwise they wouldn't be in sales for such a long time. And I think it takes a lot of experience and also knowledge to convince our team. And that's why I'm super happy that our team is a fan of Scribe, because to be honest, I didn't expect that, because they can be quite stubborn sometimes. And that's how most sales teams are that I got to know. And that's what I really love about it, because you really care about your customers. And that's something that I haven't experienced a lot with working with tools, and especially SaaS. So yeah, I'm super happy that we got to know Scribe and that we got to know you and Eva, because the whole process has been super smooth and super nice. And yeah, I really liked all the calls and all the onboardings that we had.
Thank you. You were also amazing clients with the whole team. It was really fun to work with them and to kind of also get the questions. I mean, for us, it's always a learning, and every question is something that we could integrate more. And it's a great team that you have, and I look very forward to see more of them on LinkedIn, and to see them in our webinars and in our like recurring training sessions, to see them grow.
Yeah, I'm super looking forward to that. And I'm excited to see everything that's happening with OMR and Scripe, even when I'm gone.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Juliette, for the conversation.